The Alpine Formula One CEO reveals his plan to fix a huge amount of internal issues. The Alpine CEO, Luca Di Maio, has outlined a clear plan to address significant problems within his Formula One team. The French outfit began the latest regulation changes in a reasonable fashion last year, establishing themselves as the best of the rest. Despite reliability presenting itself as a clear weakness, Alpine had a strong foundation to build upon for 2023. However, the team's aspirations to fight at the front failed to materialize over the winter break. From day one in preseason, the A523 proved to be relatively uncompetitive. Despite the quiet confidence shown by Otmar Safnauer in interviews, there were few signs that Alpine would be world beaters in Bahrain. Pierre Gasly's P9 finish was a strong recovery from qualifying, validating the early consensus. Still, later events in Australia and Miami provided some optimism for the team, and that they could pull themselves somehow up the field. Under certain conditions, the French team was capable of giving the likes of Aston Martin something to worry about. Although a fantastic weekend in Monaco provided further encouragement, the A523 has shown little promise since then. Whilst the car is relatively compliant in terms of handling, it lacks the performance to compete for major honours. With Ocon and Gasly having both managed exceptional podiums in 2023, but these have been anomalies in the results. Furthermore, the mid-season development at McLaren has served as a magnifying glass for the lack of progress at Enstone. However, despite the reality of Alpine's situation, it was only 18 months ago that CEO Laurent Rossi outlined the team's 5-year plan. The team's high-ranking personnel all seemed convinced that this timeline was appropriate. Therefore, Alpine's pace this year shouldn't have triggered any significant alarm within the squad, at least in theory. As the first races were completed, however, internal frustrations soon began to surface. Laurent Rossi began the 2023 campaign with a series of criticisms towards the team. The Frenchman then listed a variety of grievances, seemingly dissatisfied with the team's progress. In response, albeit via interactions with the media, team principal Otmar Safnauer made clear that success in Formula One cannot be rushed. Evidently, there were internal disagreements. Not too long after this exchange, during the Belgian Grand Prix weekend, the dismissal of Safnauer and Permain was announced. Whilst there were clear elements of confusion and uncertainty, one thing soon became clear. The widely discussed 5-year plan was no longer viable. Luca Di Maio and the other senior personnel at Alpine have set goals for more immediate success though. In a speech given at Enstone, broadcast in the factory as well in Vieri, Di Maio outlined a series of changes. A range of topics were discussed by the Renault CEO. Di Maio had made things clear that the old ways of thinking will no longer be tolerated in the team, and Alpine will be working towards a fresh approach and increased collaboration between the Enstone team and the Viral team as well, as previously there have been instances of clear division between the English and French departments in the team. An example of this tension takes place during race weekends, where the team's English and French personnel have been known to book separate hotels. At a constructor that manufactures its own engines, this lack of chemistry is detrimental. Alpine has received plenty of criticism for the unreliability of their engines as well, especially during the 2022 season. In addition to reliability, the French power unit provides less horsepower than Mercedes, Honda, or their Ferrari counterparts. However, it is no secret that Alpine has deficiencies in various areas. Excuses are also becoming increasingly difficult to accept in modern Formula One, as proven by Aston Martin and McLaren. Internal cohesion and innovation will be rewarded out on track. So really interesting to hear all of this coming out about Alpine this year. I didn't necessarily know about all of these internal struggles and internal divisions between the team. And it's certainly very interesting to hear about the fact that the English department and the French department don't get along well, and for them to even book separate hotels is completely unheard of in Formula One.